domestic violence and the possible outcomes of those charges. So I have with me attorney Matthew Crows. Matt, what is this law firm's philosophy for all charges, but maybe even arguably more important for domestic violence?
So our main goal is to make sure, if you come to our law firm, we want to make sure that you're left with the best outcome as humanly possible. So domestic violence can get a little bit sticky depending on where you get to. So if you start out with a felony 5, our approach is we want to do a trial in every single case. That's what we love to do. We love doing trials. We want to try and beat every single case. The reality is that's not possible. There's no way to beat every single case, but that's the approach we always take. Now, if felony 5, those are very, very serious charges because there's no mechanism in order to get that reduced to a misdemeanor in any possible scenario. So what we'd want to do at that point is perhaps try to see if we can negotiate something that leaves you with a misdemeanor conviction or perhaps even a felony 6, to where if we jump through some hoops, we can convert that felony 6 conviction into a misdemeanor after perhaps showing the prosecutor, building up some goodwill with the prosecutor, the courts, and the judges.
Absolutely, and that's so important. It's so important. Having a felony conviction, it's not going to end anyone's life. No point in living anymore, but it's going to make it harder. It's going to make it so much harder. And so you're exactly correct. We want to do everything possible to avoid a felony conviction. Continue on that, Matt.
What's really important, especially with domestic violence charges, is it has a significant impact on future endeavors. For example, any conviction for domestic violence is going to impact anyone's ability to own a handgun. This is actually brought to the forefront by the Lautenberg Amendment, which basically says anybody who's convicted of a crime involving domestic violence is deemed an improper person and you lose your gun rights. Well, where does this come into an effect? Well, this is problematic for police officers, anybody who had plans to join the military, whether it's Air Force, Army, Navy, any branch of the military. If you cannot own a gun, or you cannot possess a gun, you can't follow that career path. So it has some significant impact.
And there's no exception if you're a police officer or if you're active military. Domestic violence conviction for active military police officers is career ending. And so, exactly correct. And we fight these cases everything we got. We fight every case, everything we got, but we understand that a domestic violence charge, it's like a snowball, and it just keeps going. And it's the gift that keeps on giving, and it's the gift you never wanted. So, the Lautenberg Amendment, what about hunters?
Hunters, same thing. I mean, if you get convicted of domestic violence, you can't own a gun. Your gun rights are gone. The Lautenberg Amendment is known as the Gun Control Act. So it literally prohibits you from owning a gun, possessing a gun, being able to buy a gun. Now, that's not the end-all, be-all. If you are convicted, there are ways in which you can have your gun rights restored. You have to go through a very lengthy process. You have to complete the sentence. You start talking about things like expungement.
So what Matt is talking about is the restoration of gun rights. And this is something that we see consistently in Indianapolis, attorneys doing incorrectly. And not because they're stupid, they're mean or evil. They just don't understand. So Indiana does have expungement laws. And so after a period of time, certain convictions, notably level 6s and misdemeanors, can actually be wiped off a person's record. But expungement does not take care of gun rights. So we have people call this law firm all the time. Marc, I keep trying to get my handgun permit, I keep trying to get my firearm permit, and I keep getting denied. And I say, okay, well, what happened? Talk to them a little bit. Well, they had some domestic violence charge 10 years ago. Some other attorney got it expunged, and so they thought it was off the record. They can go get their handgun. That doesn't change anything. You have to restore the gun rights and then get the expungement. If you do it the other way, it's much harder because expungement, the conviction's gone. It's hard to see. It's hard to find. Court looks at you like you're crazy. We're trying to undo an expungement, but hey, if you undo an expungement, can you redo it? Because you only get one of those in your life. It's a paperwork nightmare. So there's no story that's done, forever finished, but there is a correct way and an improper way of doing that. You agree?
I agree 100%. And it's very, very important that you do it the correct way up front. If you don't, like you said, it's a logistical nightmare. And the worst thing that can happen is if you are caught up in a situation like this, you want to have a career as a police officer, you want to join the military, and you have something like this, if you do it the wrong way, it's going to significantly inhibit or even perhaps prohibit you from ever following your dream, getting a career. So if you find yourself in a situation where you are charged with a crime involving domestic violence, with a crime that inhibits or is going to have some type of impact with your gun rights, it's very important that you give us a call. Any parting words?
Remember, always plead the fifth.